I'm Geraldine Gray. I'm the CEO of Endiem. We're a Salesforce implementation partner based in Houston. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some of our experiences of digitizing and automating our processes with mission control.
I'm Will Nurse. I'm delivery lead at Endiem, so I'm responsible for all of our implementations and consultants.
Before we had mission control, we used a tool called FreshBooks, which was great for very small pieces of project management. Not so great for actually reporting on the larger projects that we were winning and delivering for probably at least 5 years before we moved to mission control. So we were a little bit behind the curve of adopting mission control. We should have taken that way earlier. It would have made a big difference to our workflow and the information we were able to get out of it. Alongside using FreshBooks, we were also using bits of string, sellotape, rubber bands, Post-it notes, legal yellow pads, pencils that needed sharpening, you name it, we had it. Email, Google Docs, Google Drive, Dropbox, everything. But having mission control meant that we were able to put everything in one place. So it was easy for us to be able to say how much we had spent on a project and how many hours we had spent in a project. It was really difficult for us to tell how many hours we had to go on a project, so exactly what our burn rate was. It was also really difficult to tell who was supposed to be scheduled on which project and when.
Linking the detail of what's happening on a project to the business requirements, being able to track time against user stories, all of those features have really made a difference in terms of being able to kind of track down to the detailed deliverables for the project.
Yeah, that's right. So we were able to track the macro level information. We were able to invoice the customers, but that's really where it stopped. So if a customer ever had a question about what was going on with their project, we really had to go look in about half a dozen different places in order to get them a good answer. And that was an incredible waste of time. So we decided to go with mission control because we needed something that was lightweight enough to handle a $20,000 or $30,000 project that maybe took a few weeks. But we also needed something that could handle the $500,000, $800,000, $1 million plus projects that might take place over a year. There's lots of different tools that could do that, but it was also really important to us that we had a product that was inside Salesforce, and so that we could attach it to our entire sales cycle. So it was one less place for people to look for information and one less place for people to kind of peck through other solutions and other sources of data. And then really important for us was that we had a product that we could integrate with Xero. So when it came to actually implementing mission control, we knew that we didn't have as much time to dedicate to implementing it as we wanted to. So we had one resource come and help us with that project. And they already worked for us, but they acted like a consultant to the consultants, which sounds bizarre, right? However, we couldn't stop work because we needed to do a mission control or a Salesforce implementation. And so we worked with them, and then they worked with our team to actually build out the end solution. We ended up with a product that takes us from the moment an opportunity looks like it's going to close in our favor, all the way through to paid invoice.
I've seen a significant increase in our ability to track work at a daily basis, as I talked about before with user stories. But additionally, I've got a real-time picture of project burn rate. As hours are being entered, I can see exactly what's happening with a project, how we're doing against budget, be able to raise risks, manage issues, all of those features. Having that in one place, kind of at leveraging all the power and functionality of Salesforce is just massive. It's a massive advantage.
It's been pretty life-changing, to be honest. And I would say that, so we implemented mission control in 2019, pre-COVID. We'd been live with the product for about 6 months before COVID came along. But when everybody suddenly went entirely digital, entirely remote, we were still able to keep our finger on the pulse of every single project that we had, which was really important because when COVID hit, basically everybody stopped work for an amount of time, right? But because we were so ingrained in using mission control at that point, it was easy for us to be able to pick up projects when the customers came back. And so as soon as the customers came back, which really was only a few weeks, but it felt like forever. But as soon as the customers were coming back, we were able to say, okay, on this project, we have gathered these requirements and we are at this point on this task. And so we knew exactly where to step right back into work. So there was no downtime. As soon as the customer hit the go button on the project again, we're right back into work. I think that if you take the time to implement it well, and you take the time to leverage what it can bring to your company, it pays it back tenfold.
Yeah.
So we're managing multi-million dollar, multi-year projects out of it, and we expect to continue to be able to do that. And the ability to invoice a customer every week and have no questions on the invoice, because we're not invoicing it once a month or randomly, right? Means that it has a dramatic impact on our cash flow.
I think it's been tremendous. We've been able to get on the phone with Colin, the CEO of the company, to both kind of get demos, but also get questions answered about the product. I have to say the user documentation, the user guide on the site, is among the best I've ever seen in terms of like product documentation. It is so thorough. And great use of video as well to demonstrate what's there. So, like, unlike a lot of products, that is actually the first place I go to try and get questions answered. Is that because I generally can get figure out what I need to from user documentation, which is rare, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not many companies that you get to work with where you can get an enterprise level software where the CEO actually cares. Usually by the time that you're working with enterprise level software, CEO has long ago left the building and they're on the golf course or on their boat or whatever it happens to be. But Colin always makes himself available to us and to our customers as well if they have a question. Implementing it in 2019 was one of the things that saved us in 2020. It was an amount of effort to get it to go because we wanted so much out of the tool. But having got mission control now going for over 2 years, I think, you'd probably have to prize it out of our cold dead hands.
Yeah, there's nothing I would replace it with that's out there. And I've looked at other PSA solutions, but there's nothing that I would do replace it with. No question.